So I thought I would just send this to you. I'll end up doing this stuff this week anyways, going through the Shanahan red zone passing concepts. And I thought, you know what, probably send it to you. Be easier to do it this way maybe than try and link up on our schedules, especially with how busy I know y'all all are. So overall, this is, most of the Shanahan stuff. This is focused on San Fran and LA in the 20 and 21 seasons. Be a little bit of 19 in there. I don't have the 22 stuff yet, but it's mostly focused in there with a little bit of Green Bay and Tennessee Titans where it kind of fits in. So overall, I think the first thing you get to talk about down there is the attackers or the man beaters, right? Everybody has them. These are the ones that are kind of more so in their system. Down here at the goal line, 3 and in, you get a lot of some runs with some like man attachments on them, right? So zone read stuff with pick routes, that kind of thing. The best film to watch for this stuff is Green Bay in the 20 season. I think they called 18 of them and scored like a 60% rate, which is really high, throwing and running. So any sort of zone stuff, there's going to run zone read. Any sort of man, it's an automatic pull. A lot of times it's an automatic pull and then throw the man picks, right? So another thing to talk about, these words up top are not their words at all. These are 100% my words, but the concepts are all the same. I think how it's taught the same. So NFL is different, right? You can block a yard line of scrimmage. You get a lot of this pick stuff down here, just trying to free tight end. It end up being true zone stuff. You end up running zone read, and the ball would never get out there. But as soon as man, the quarterback knows to pull it, we're running the man picks. What's cool about this stuff offensively is there's a lot of different stuff you can do, right? As long as you're running zone read, now you have 2-man picks, 3-man picks, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, Green Bay has, we'll call it 8 different 11, 12 zone runs, and they'll have 5 different man beaters attached to them. So they kind of mix and match on the week. And it's really cool stuff. We did a lot of this with Phil at UNC, and it was really good to us. But good package, good goal line stuff. Down here, you see it again, right? It's man, automatic pull. The DN's sitting. You're trying to throw what is the shoot. The shoot doesn't get picked for properly, but the stick ends up being open. Just a good play by the DN, just kind of sit there. But like I said, there's all kinds of different type of man beaters you can do here. Just got to be prepared for whatever they have in their package. All right, so now we're just an 11 make 12 formation. All right, kind of like the maybe motion stuff we'll go over another time up top to cut off the D-gap defender up top by Robert Woods. But doesn't matter, right? We got a premier look, which on this knife concept, as I'm calling it, is a now slant and like the shield slant by 2. Right, that's a lot easier right there to them, to everybody, than to blocking all 7, 8, 9 in the box and trying to cram it up in there. So LA would do this. San Fran has not, at least in my film, right? It might have changed this year. Everything I have is not including this year. They have not gotten into this stuff. I don't have enough Seattle film to tell you, but Seattle being from the Rams tree, I would assume this is kind of in their wheelhouse a little bit more. All right, so easy premier look, throw it. If we don't have that premier look, whatever that is, based off the actual beater that week, then we're running the run play. So the quick one you'll get, and they'll do this in the open field as well. They'll break the huddle fast. They'll do this on 3rd and short from the 40. They'll do it on the 2-yard line. Is what I call a sniper down here. So snag pick for the rail. Right, this is an open field call. This is a goal line call. This is you'll see it, muddle, huddle, break the huddle fast and snap it quickly. Really good man concept for them. They'll run it a lot of different ways. Talking about the Rams will do this a lot of different ways. And up top, they're running what I call Dodger, which is snag with a dig. It's like the scan to concept. Big base down play for them. See him break the huddle fast. Already know the snap count. Already know the protection. Snap as fast as you can and throw the sniper. So you're going sniper to dig to snag if they were to cover it all. Same play here. Flipping it though. Doing with the back and the X. Same concept. We're going sniper. We're going Dodger. He's in protection in this pro. Words don't matter, right? But We're going Dodger up top, which is snag, dig, and snipers pick for the rail. So snag, pick, rail, and just scan on through it. So if this was covered up, then golf would then reset and go dig to snag. Right, Dodger being dig, snag concept is a big base down scan back into concept form. It's a good one because you see the can. Not sure what they had on before, but they get obvious man covers running sniper trips, which has him running the rail, him running the snag pick, right, and then him running essentially a pick post. So you see the can, you see communication from Stafford. We got pure man, O-line's talking. They're going to a full slide concept now. Right, it was as easy as it gets. So this is some sort of maybe run to pass, maybe it's been pass to pass type thing based off zone man. But as soon as they got true man, it's easy. We're canning this thing back to our second call, which here happens to be sniper. Easy touchdown you can get. Same thing here. Gave incentive, you're getting the Dodger concept again down here, but instead of getting sniper, you're getting sticky, which is the stick concept. This will also be a lot of times burst from the huddle quickly. I believe this is how the Detroit beat Green Bay final week of the year by calling this out of a model huddle just like this and just hoping to get a quick bust. This is really easy. This is a base down play 2 and 4, but the play at base down as well for them. Very common play, but they'll run it more down here out of this model huddle. Shoot, stick, and then your Dodger down here. So your flat, dig, snag. It's just a straight progression for the Q. 1, 2, 3, 4. Around the world. All right, so the snag dig concept is a very common one you'll see as a scan back into it. They call it like a second look side. So this will always be whatever this is, sniper, sticky, whatever this is up top, and they'll always come back and look, dig to snag. Right, so stoner pick is one that it's not very successful. Now the Eagles did bust it in 20 pretty bad, but it's not been that successful play. Let me see what I have the stats here. So stick nod with a pick. I don't have it right here. So stick nod with a pick. So normal stick nod, right? Something like that, and vertical. And then they're usually going with a choice route backside or something like that. So that as soon as I go with a pick call, then now we're picking a longer return for the now slant underneath it, right? So it's ugly. Let me see, you'll see here. Now this is our first look side. This is a purely man beater. Like I said, it really has not been that successful for them. But they're going now, slant, to the nod, to the late return, who's picking for the now, coming back underneath. And when they're calling this concept, and this would be a second look side, like here they're running a curl, flat back side, something like that. But the intention is to get him the ball on one step now slant. This will also be a base down call for him if they see man. Like I said, not very successful play over the last couple of years. And get you those stats. I don't have them right in front of me, but I was surprised. Here's actually. So average 5 yards of play, which is a terrible, but it's probably not what you want in a 16 reps on like a man beater. And the ball went here 7 times. So I got sacked a couple times. I went here 7. Sorry. I went to the now slant 7 times and went here twice. And then went to the nod once, right? So this, if you take away this, there's not really much of a play. Here it is again. This is just busted by the Eagles in 21. Right? Any sort of zone concept, it's easy pickup. Any sort of pass off concept, it's an easy pickup. The only thing is a corner press type thing is what you worry about. But and here they got just smash quarterback down here. The ball's never going down here. You're telling the quarterback purely to go. Now slant to nod to the late return, which just gets dropped. Not a huge issue, but something they do call quite frequently. Not a huge part what they do is the corner concept. So the wide corner stuff, really, I think they call it 2 or 3 times. I think they always threw it successfully. If they did throw it, it was always going back to the X, like a clear out man slant. But nothing you haven't seen before, but just to show it. The better one is gonna be what I call Patriot. Okay, this is a very common play in the NFL, very common in college. San Fran runs it quite a bit. They have a lot of different formations. It's generally a hash call, so you're gonna put the ball on the hash. He's running a pivot +1 in the end zone. You're getting the pylon coming from across the field as your second look, and you're getting a late backline dig your third look. And generally, it's gonna be some sort of 7-man pro or a motion to 6-man pro, but that is pure progression. It's 1 to 2 to 3 for the Q. Different formations, different motions, but it ends up being a 2-by-1 play. You like the X to push that thing a little deeper, the Z here. The single push a little bit deeper to make sure he's +1 in the end zone. But he ends up winning so bad, pretty easy play. That wasn't there, and the quarterback would then progress to the they do a switch release here, but he would end up progressing to the pylon route and to the backline dig. This is a pretty common one. This is good against man or zone. This is kind of like one of those all beater type plays, right? They can kind of manage it, kind of work it. Like I said, San Fran's ran this quite a bit. I don't believe LA. I haven't seen LA ran it. This is a very much the San Francisco play. Same play, different presentation with the motion. Ends up same thing though. You're getting a pivot, the pylon, and then the backline dig. That's really good distribution there. Good route. He gets +1. Good job. And you got back pylon. Different protection here, right? They end up pulling on guard. It's all the same though. Doesn't matter for the quarterback. So this is one that's going to be carried quite frequently because you have chances against man and zone. Seems as soon as you get, we'll call it 7, 8 and back, it's like a rate on the seam areas, right? How you define the seams, somewhere top of the numbers to the divide, right? All different sorts of concepts trying to attack the seams in zone. Since you run out of so much vertical room, right? You start attacking the corners, you start attacking the seams. Here's like a double post concept from Tennessee. I've not seen this show up as much this style from San Fran or LA. But San Fran will run a lot of double post in different ways, which we'll get to now. Just want to show you, like, just in general, red zone attack, you're attacking the seams as much as you can since you run out of other space. Like here's a pretty common one from the Rams. Right, this is a common base down play. We'll call it Dolphin because the Dolphins run it. Right, you got a crosser, and then you have a dig. Generally, you have a dig, and then what we call like a bait route, so Swiss, all that kind of stuff. Very common play. Down here, everybody's doing the same thing. They're just go wide and have them run a post and try to hit that seam. So QB's progression straight through to the sticky up top. No, back down to the seam down here. Now the seam's a little tighter than you probably want it to be. Right, you want to widen that thing a little bit out to give yourself some more space, but ends up working out. Pretty common play though for the Rams down here. Run it 4 or 5 times in the 2 years I've seen. Kind of that 7 to 12 range. Same play. See here, what you need is you need a crosser to get the opposite pylon to drain this guy out. By going over the top, it makes it too crowded. Now the seam throw is too crowded. Goes sticky to seam. Right, you compress the splits to get the seam open. Seam being top of the numbers to divide in the NFL. probably the most common. This one hasn't come up in a couple years. This is from 2019, but this is like the most common, maybe NFL seam attack from. This is probably the furthest you'll ever see it out. You'll see it like 3 to the 6 generally. Is what I'm calling eagle. OTB, you would be +1 in the end zone. That's a +1 in the end zone if you're within the 5-yard line. If not, run a 5-yard OTB, run a wide glance, and then run the shoot. Right, very, very common football play, really good football play. The same idea is attacking that seam area. A lot of times they'll put their cover 0 beater here, like a now slant and a corner. There's a common one here. They're doing some sort of nod concept. I'm not quite sure what they're doing down here. But this is a very, 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 very common NFL football play. I have not seen them run it very often recently. I've never seen the Rams run it. But something to think about just in general as you're going through. All right, same thing. You can press the split to get the leverage on the man corner. Still, you're attacking. Like if you look at the NFL, the college red zone attack, they're attacking seams and they're attacking the corners through wide corner and through what I call Patriot, right? You're attacking seams, you're attacking corners and zone, or in man, and then in true man, you get all the attackers. Protect the seams, though. Protect the seams, protect the seams is the NFL red zone defense. Here's like your cover 3 beater. Raiders with Gus Bradley used to get hammered on this thing down here all the time. Same thing, you're attacking the seam just in a very different way. Right, you're running smash, you're holding the 2-player, and you're just winning on the 3-player. You're keeping the 1-player down, the corner down, and you're just throwing the seam. Ends up being a quick throw, right? Because you're trying to get that thing up and down so the corner can come back off. But this down here is your cover 3 beater. You'll see this a lot if you play true 3 or like match concepts where you're pushing a fast 3 type thing. Easy read. You're trying to bang this speed out +1 for the quarterback. Corner drives it. That's what you want. Now you have all the leverage you want on the 3-player. As 2 is coming on an angle back underneath, right? So it's a really, really, really good football play against cover 3 down here. With a scan concept to come back down to, right? Corner and a return. I'm calling Chris. So quarterback just progresses straight back through this thing. If this thing is somehow covered, then you're coming back to the return. Corner is not in it at all. Corner's at the clear out. Good cover 3 beater. That's about all it's good for, but really good against that. You know, that's what you're getting. These are the type of things you can get can calls into if they know you're playing 3, they can can it into this play call type thing, all your beaters. Extremely common play. I'm calling drip double post. Okay, looking down here. Not successful, but very common from San Fran. Have not seen it from LA. Same thing though. What are we attacking? We're attacking that seam area, just a different way. This is now, think about it this way. You're calling eagle with the OTB from like the 6 and in. You're calling drip from the 7 to the 15 type thing, right? So same exact concept. Now I'm just trying to go double posts and trying to hit that exact same thing right there. Eagle, because it's closer, he runs an OTB. Drip, double post. Drain that guy, and let's throw that seam post area right there. A lot of times you'll get a return back underneath it as a second look. So QB is going 1 to 2. They call it a different variation here where you're trying to stutter the mic and clear out. The issue is, oops. The issue is now he gets bumped off and he doesn't grab that guy and clear that space out enough. If he's further across, now it's still an NFL open. That ball probably needs to go right there. But once again, guys, we're attacking that area. Same thing, going up top now. I think it's a little bit too close to call this. This is where I'd probably go more with the eagle to put the OTB on it. The same thing. Try to clear that guy out. We're attacking that area right there. Now he ends up working the smash side down here, the crush side. But you see the intent of the play. Same thing at trips, common NFL. This is like Colts are run well, the old Colts. So now like the Panthers, that system, the Peterson system, I'm sure the Jags are running it. Same concept. Now you got three guys out here, so you got to kill one of these guys. So they're telling the Z to run the under. They'll run the under. They'll run a pivot. They'll run a shallow. All kinds of things. Ends up being the same thing here though. You got what they call a through route, which is like occupy. We can go through that another day. Occupy route and then the widen post trying to attack that area. So Mike does a good job of getting width and kind of just being in that window. But they kind of got what they wanted here. High back line throw. Devontae is kind of what you want in the stubby world. I have like a million of all these plays. If you want to see more examples, please let me know of like different teams running and different variations of it. I just kind of kept this thing centered to what they are doing. So same thing, right? I got drip, I got double post. I have to kill one of these guys, right? So I can kill him on an out. When I say kill, like take him off the double post and have him do something short. Here they have him running a pivot, so W pivot. But same thing, you got post, you got through route, which is like one higher on the cross or two higher on the influence post essentially. And then backside, I'm not quite sure what they're doing. It's kind of messed up. But once again, guys, what are we doing? We're attacking the seam. Just different. How many different ways can we attack this seam? Can we occupy the zone defenders and hit that right there? Like I said, it has not been that successful for him. For whatever reason, now it has been open. It's just for some reason the quarterback's not triggering it or whatever reason. But it is a very common, very, very common at San Fran 7 through 15 area throw. This might be the last one. One more. So here you got, I believe this to be, yeah, this is 3rd and 11. So you got 2 man, so it's not as good, right? Because you can't occupy that guy. But same thing. Double post down here. Trying to hard against 2 men, occupy that guy, grab him, run across his face, and then throw right behind him, right in the seam. Up here, nuke is what I'm calling it with a now in the corner. Okay, this is your cover 0 answer. This has been called a lot. It's never been thrown in my cutups. I like 8 times I called it, and it was thrown 0 times. Talking about San Francisco in the last couple of years. But excuse me, this is the cover 0 answer. They'll go now to the corner with this corner going to the midpoint, right? He's not going to the back pylon. He's going 5 yards deep in the end zone. I think it's short there, but you're not going to call it this far out usually. So here's a good like vertical seam concept. Here they have to have cup down here. This is the Rams have done this a couple times the last couple of years. You'll get this high red 15 and up. Right, this is your cover 1, cover 3. Anytime they're just pushing stubby or a poach, anytime they're pushing that, now you have a 5-yard head start to win on the seam here. QB just look off to hold the free safety that way, and then you have a 10-yard head start to go win the race one-on-one with the seam player. So good concept when they're pushing the coverage that way. Show one more against the Eagles from, I believe, 2 years back, 3 years back, maybe. Same play. Probably the closest you'll ever see it. They're here at 12. That's pretty tight. The same covers, they're gonna push it and end up busting it again up top. But quarterback wise, you're purely throwing the running back here down to the shallow from the Z. Easy progression. It's the ultimate clear out. They run so many choices. People start to sit on the choice routes and they're able to run right by them. So I've not seen your division run this stuff as much, but it is, pretty common across the world. It's run like what I'm calling the pumps. The and go was off of very common plays. So Y corner and go, right? Pretty common that the number 2 guys are on a slant and go. This should not be opening against like brackets like they're in here. This is a very much a zony type play. And it's one of those things where you probably, at least we've done it. We come up to the line, we call white corner, about UNC and other places I've been. You call normal white corner. If it ends up being the premier look to pump it, you give the whoever their number 2 is, we call him the W. You give him like a pump tag, so he runs a slant and a go, right? Because that's your zone, your open field, split field coverage beater right there. And if it's man, you end up still generally liking. Like I don't love white corner. I think it's played pretty well, but if you like white corner, you end up playing white corner out against cover 1 and then zone stuff. You end up running the pump off of it. So like I said, not what you're seeing in that division. Seattle might run it, I'm not sure, but very common across the league and very common amongst other teams that have run this style of offense. Another one, Snag being Snag with the corner. So normal Snag up top. Don't worry about this. This is just normal white corner. Snag. America's play, right? Now you're going the pump off of it, which he's running a corner curl. He's running a snag and go, and then he's staying on the shoot. Right, so same thing. You really like this against zone, not as much against man, which they're about to get it in. But you're going snag, pump, 1, to the corner curl, 2. Now it's going against man. The corner curl somehow wins against man. This is not something you want to call against man, though. You want to can it and then run something else. Or work the white corner side down here. But good to know. You'll see this 10 and out usually. Green Bay's had some success on this play the last couple of years. So movements, sprint out stuff, they really like it. Both teams really like it. Really good goal line stuff, for and in maybe. And all sorts. They're generally going right. Green Bay will go left because that freak is the way they have playing quarterback. But these guys are going right. And you're getting basically protection, sprint out protection. He's running the crosser, but he'll hardly ever get. And the Rams threw it once, the crosser, but don't worry about that. You're getting all sorts of different games, 2-man games here, okay? So here we got crush, which is inverted smash, common one. You'll get regular smash, right? And then you'll get the last one I'll go over, which is like a really good concept. Nothing crazy here, nothing you haven't seen. It's just they do it quite a bit. Talk about San Fran and LA will do it quite a bit. Different formation, different motions. It ends up getting to a 2-by-1 type set of some sort, though. Trying to pick for the shoot runner, stuff like that. Like I said, this is a good goal line concept for them. I believe I've only seen them go right. That might have changed. Right now we're in bunch, we have motions, all that kind of stuff, but ends up getting the same exact play we just watched. Easy touchdown. Right, so good concept stuff for him. Like I said, the single backside running a crosser. I think Stafford pulled up and threw it once. It's just you're never gonna get back there. You don't have time. Hopefully the secondary contain and defense makes you pull up and all that kind of stuff, but ball's not getting back there. So same play, same everything. Different formation, different people in different spots, ends up getting the same thing, but now we're playing normal smash rules. So you're going speed out to the corner. Very common, very, very common goal line play for him. Good stuff for him. Very successful. Really like this one. Usually they do it to a single, or they jet this guy across. They kept him on here and post snap took him across. But I'm calling wrap, which is like a pure ISO front pylon. So he's gonna show fade, then run and come back to the front pylon. And now this is like a cup. Miami does this with Tyreek Hill. Chiefs have done this with Hill. It's like put your best player there, sprint to him, and let him run the comeback to the front pylon. So really good play. If you have a dude there, like I can see San Fran doing it with I guess either of those guys are pretty good. So you see the protection here is different. This is how like the Chiefs do it. This is to me like the premier way of protecting sprint out. is everybody's normal, whatever, sprint out rules, however you want to teach it, waterfalling on the back, all that kind of stuff. Play side tackle, and this is how the Chiefs do it, and this is how I think is the best way. The play side tackle knows he has to leave one for the running back, right? So if no edge pressure threat here, he's going to step down to put a stop to this. Like he's going to seal this thing off and give the running back the D end, like he does here. So now you put a really good stop. Now he's running a slider, so don't worry about the receiver. You put a really good stop to the defense here. You seal it off, and you give the running back, but you're going to go cut the outside leg of the D end. If there is edge pressure, right, I can only leave one for the running back, and he will then join in, playing play side tackle, then go join in and also go reach the D end. So normal rules, but there's just one threat. You leave that one for the running back and then go seal it off. So like this, how the Chiefs do it. They're really successful with the sprint out stuff because now, like I said, you're putting a stop there, and it's not, this whole thing's not bleeding out. You're putting a real stoppage there. Now the quarterback can get out there. And the Chiefs are really, really aggressive to go cut that outside leg at running back. A little different here, the slider coming back across post snap. Kind of muddies it up, but I like that. That's my favorite way of protecting it. I've not seen them do it a ton for whatever reason. That's how they did it this week. Usually it's a full run and reach with a waterfall on the backside, like most people do. So this is a good one. This is Green Bay's made a killing out of this one. These guys have done a little bit. Same thing. We're springing out to the right, running crossers, all that stuff. Now what I call Cougar or Okie, whatever you want to call it, is like the speed out day, like day one quick game stuff across the country. Just down here though, they're taking the outside guy on a backline return as a second look. So sprint out, everything's still the same. Okay, if that's open, if the +1 speed out is open in the front pylon, throw it as your first look. If not, this guy's running a backline return as your second look. So like this is one of my favorite two-man concepts to sprint out to. Green Bay has some really, really good cuts of this, of Devontae winning here and then also throwing the backline return if they do, like outside leverage, take it away, all that kind of stuff. You see it here, spring out to it. Same thing, they're outside leverage. They take Devontae away. Now, instead of the play being over, like most people would just, the play's over, these guys are now sticking their foot in the ground and running the backline return as a second look. All right, so talking about flow passes. So flow pass being the protection, just to show you real quick. Very simple. I can go play O-line, do flow pass. Right, it's just full slide. He's out, the fullback's out, the running back is then cutting the inside leg of the D end. So when I say flow pass, I'm talking about all these passes off this protection. There's gonna be three different concepts that come out of this. So the first one being like what I call Denny's, right? Denny's like power pass. Denny's is always open, the classic joke. So power pass with like the mesh built into it, okay? So something like that. Fullback's always the first look, the corner being the second look wherever it comes from, and then the mesh going away is the third look. So the mesh coming to is just a picker for the mesh going away. Very common football play across the world, very common in these systems as well. So the flat's open to the fullback, you take it, plays over. So fullback to corner, and if that was all covered, then you go back to Debo. But the intent, like the easiest throw in all these flow passes, right? All three of them will be common is to throw the flat element, whatever the flat element is. We want to throw that first. So you can see here, right? A lot of people run normal power pass, and if the flat in the corner covered up, there's nowhere to go. What these guys are doing better is they're running power pass with the mesh coming back across. Right. So I'm flat element, fullback no, tight end no, and now reset, get some depth. Now let's go with the backside mesh route, which in this concept he can climb. Talking about 81 here because he doesn't have something over top of him, which we'll get to in a little bit. He can climb up. Right. He can even elevate to like that back pylon if he wanted to, which he should have here. but good heavy personnel run. San Fran will do this. LA will not, because they don't really get in heavy personnel, at least in my stuff. They have not gotten into this 22. Right, we're like in 22 jumbo here, whatever you call that. We got a lineman playing a tight end, but good goal line 22 throw right here. So same type of concept. This is obviously the Rams. They'll do this. Same thing, same protection. Everybody sliding, cut the outside leg. So a fullback, you now have Cup running the shoot. And then you have your same mesh concept, but instead of the corner, you have the backline dig. Right, so you shoot to the mesh to 2, to the backline dig is 3. I'm calling this Lilly because John Lilly, our Titans coach at UNC, loved this play. They did it with the Browns quite a bit before they got canned. But you'll get this off motion, right? And the whole thing and all these passes, like I said, you'll see all sorts of motions and jets and fake jets. Is to get the flat element open. Because of how quick of a throw it is, they'll always do this to the left. Like the protection will always go left, quarterback opening to the right. We did the other way at UNC, and our quarterback was always late. So you always want to protect this thing going left. So a quarterback can pick it up, throw it, put it down, and throw the ball to the right that quickly. So like I said, same thing, you shoot, but instead of a corner from the strong side, you now have a backline dig. So you shoot to Higbee on the mesh to Robert Woods on the backline dig here. Same thing, you got double motions. They take the shoot away. It's easy to see, right? I know my shoot's taken away by sub-zone. Now I'm going to get some depth, reset this thing, and go mesh to backline dig. And because the backline dig come behind him, Higbee can't raise up like he can on the other play. He's got to stay +1 in the end zone. That's a great rep right there. Like these concepts are a great way to try to hit the flat element. If he didn't like the flat for whatever reason, then he resets and he has a really good backside concept to get to. It's really, like I said, no different than Patriot, which was the pivot pylon, right? Same thing. We're just attacking it with the same side. So now I have him coming and him coming. Right. So like once you break down red zone attacks where people are really attacking you, man beaters are man beaters. But outside of that, like you're talking about seams being attacked and then the corners being attacked and the front pylons being attacked. Like you're not getting all these different area throws. Too crowded. So good concept, man or zone. This is like one of those, what I call like carry play, like call it and run it. You don't have to check in and out of it. You can roll with it. See the protection here. Then the last thing you'll get, not as common, route pattern is just the classic snag, corner, shoot with a dig coming behind it. Not as common, but same thing. Like you're really, the snag's not gonna get it. He's really just trying to pick for the flat element. What's hard about this play is really there's nowhere else to go with it. Since you lose the backside mesh element, like there's no second, third look side. It's kind of shoot to corner to nothing. But you can see the motion here, right? The whole goal is to free up the flat runner. Backlines. Okay, so let me pull the stats for this. So this is LA's baby, okay? And let me see Redzone backline. Okay, so this is the Rams baby. They'll call it a lot, and it has not at all been successful for them. That's why I put Titans clip on it to show it. Okay, so what is backline? Backline is a 3-by-1 concept, and this is the closest you'll see it. And you'll see the Rams call it like all the way back at the 10, right? So it's a pretty versatile concept in that it can be called up and down. What you have is a shoot that if he doesn't get the ball returned to a wheel, you have a backline dig, right? So like top of the numbers dig, or top of the letters dig. You have a shallow that's going to be +1 in the end zone. And then you have 2 remaining guys that you can kind of do whatever you want with. You can have man beaters here. You can have like backline, like the common ones would put another backline over there. You can kind of play with these 2 guys. But the concept is really here. That's a shooting wheel, but he'll be way wider, and then the shallow. Now, this play was called 17 times between the the seasons and the teams I have, okay? And the ball was thrown to the shallow 8 times. It was thrown to the back twice, and it was thrown to the tag 1 time. The dig never got it, nor should he. Like, there's not a coverage in which that's open. So really, if you take away the shallow, there's nowhere to go with this football. And he got sacked 6 times. Right. So, and scored, his effectiveness was 39. It didn't score very many. Okay. It was a very inefficient football play. But the Titans are really good because this is A.J. Brown winning on the shallow. So I say all that to say it's a very common play in the NFL, very common in college. Rams love this play. But if the shallow doesn't get it, then the success of this play is limited. They obviously like it against zone because you get the shallow on a bigger box linebacker and he will jerk him, he'll do whatever, but he has to win across the face at +1. So this is like the day one install of what they're doing with the twins guys up here. He's running what I call a bait. He's running a backline return. But the ball will never ever get there. That's like a 5-second play, so I wouldn't worry about that. The ball is going back to shallow to dig. College football play across all levels. It's one of those that I don't truly understand that well as far as why, because like the efficiency just is not there. Years and years of studying this thing against all sorts of coverages, it's just not winning. If the shallow doesn't win, there's nowhere to go. So here's them running it. Same thing. There's an empty right, so he'll run the out. If he doesn't get it, run the wheel. You're getting the backline dig. You're getting the shallow. You're getting the bait, and then you're getting the backline return. So good route. I mean, +1. He's like they're all getting their spots they're supposed to. There's just nowhere to go with this football. The shallow doesn't win. There's nowhere, right? You're running right into red 2. You're running directly into people. So same play. Like I said, though, they can play with these guys on different man picks. Like I've seen Sniper. I've seen people really utilize these two guys better than this system is doing across like more so college. So here's what they're running what I call Titan, which is a widened glance, right? Trying to pick and then the now slant. So this to me, like if I'm teaching this play, I'm putting a man beater here. And this is not how they do it. I'm just kind of riffing here. I'm putting a man beater with 1 and 2 to the strength. And if it's man, we're working here. If it's zone, we're working like the zone side, which is here. Here they're working this side no matter what. And the shallow ends up getting covered. But to me, like especially against zero, this should be where the ball is going. I just want to put this on here to show you like they'll do all sorts of different things with 1 and 2. But the concept, like this is where they're hammering the football. So same thing, now just faking that same pick. It all ends up being the same concept though down here. Right, if they have the back, they'll take it. People will teach that a little bit differently. But these guys, if they have the back on the shoot, take it. If not, he'll wheel up to clear out the flat guy so the shallow can then win. Up top, you can see they're faking that same pick they just ran, which is a good thought to me. But here it is. If you're in any sort of zone match stuff, right, you need the shallow to win on some sort of jerk. You need the shallow to win back across. If he doesn't, don't worry about it. One more look of them changing it to Ricky, which should be a return route, and then a corner. But it's all the same bones, the boundary. Same thing, right? Just a mismatch. Let me get my best player or a good player against the mic. Let me jerk across his face, right? Because what are we saying? We're saying so much of this stuff to attack the pylons, back pylons, right? So I'm going over. Don't drip. I'm going over. So like you need a play to then set up over and then come back underneath flat. So it does make sense. There's probably something better to do with these guys, but So I'm calling backline special. They call, I forget what they call us, red line or blue line. I get confused. Same kind of bones. There's kind of do the complement off of it. And I think this was even less successful than backline was. Um, so he's running a check. So let me go back. He's running like a corner or speed out type thing to the back pylon, check release shallow. He's running the same shallow. Now these guys are running the true backline over here. So there's kind of flipping a little bit of the concept. I still don't know like what coverage you like this against. I've not really seen it work. The ball quarterback read wise goes corner to the shallow to the back, coming back across. So I put this on here. I honestly do not really understand this football play. When do you like it? I don't know how many times it's scored besides just like stuff like this. Besides Stafford just being a freakazoid and dropping a 3/4 release in there. But zone man, like I think this stuff picked up pretty easily. But they do run it quite frequently, so I did want to show it. It's just kind of like the compliment off of it. One more look at it. Like that's where I mean the ball ends up going to the back for like 3 yards a lot, or 2 yards a lot of times. So you're going corner to shallow to back with the field 1 and 2 down here, not really in it. So this is a good play. I call it cup, just because these guys run it quite a bit. This is like a very common last play, right? In quotations, being what's the situation here? Dang it, doesn't matter. Some sort of okay. 13 seconds left. All right, so you're getting this football play. You're getting this football play. I'm calling like some sort of last play. You're getting this 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 from the goal, third and from the 3rd and goal from the 9, stuff like that. End of halves, like here it is here, that kind of thing. What it is, it's really Cooper Kupp will always be that guy. He's going what they call an attack route, which is like a middle hook, like get open +1 in the end zone. So you're +1. These guys are like +3, and then you're in the big digs behind it. And this play has had some good success for him over the years. I've not seen San Francisco run it. This is most of the Rams stuff. Let me go back to the backline concepts. I've seen them in San Fran's installs, playbooks. I've not seen them run the backline or the backline special I've discussed. That's mostly the Rams. So this is pretty successful with the ball kind of, let me see, scattering all about. With the intention of it being zone, right? Play's not getting its man. It being zone and just winning one-on-one with the mic. Right, push it, try to push him deep, and you're getting +1. That ball better be quick on him. So that window obviously is very tight. But you see kind of the bones here, +1, a little bit deeper, +3, and then backline dig. So quarterback always will go 1 and then choose a side to scan 2 to 3 or 2 to 3. Right, pure zone play. So this is one that probably need to be canned if it was man. There's some sort of man beater type thing. I'll have to look at more film like weekly to see what they're pairing it with, but good football play. Same thing here. They're doing that 3-by-1, and now this is your man answer, right? So they don't have to can it. This is your zone side. If it's man, we're throwing a 1-on-1 fade, plays over. If it's zone, we're working this whole thing. +1 inside the hash is going to win. +3 in the divide, and then backline dig, top of the numbers, however you want to teach that, backline dig. But if it's man 1-on-1, we're taking our shot here. Tight end versus the linebacker. Like I said, this is a really nice zone concept on these are all 3rd downs. Or like this is 2nd and 9, right? So This is your 7, 8, 9 yard play, something like that. This one, what they have done, I don't know if there's tags or there's rules to it. I need to look more into it. Is everything's the same. So +1, he's running a fade, check release bait. But instead of him running the +3 bait route, he's running kind of like the post goal line or backline dig over top of it. I kind of like that one more because getting one to win that backline dig is I just don't see it because this corner is usually so far inside leverage. Like it's very difficult. Like here you see kind of bad defense, but generally like getting a number 1 to win a backline dig is much more difficult than it is to get a slot to win. So you kind of see it here, and this ball hits multiple spots. So Cup kind of has like hash to win, right? So +1, and this route will then hit on the opposite hash. So I have another one where Cup kind of sits over here, and then Golf finds it on this goalpost. Right. So same thing. I really like this against zone, like 3rd and 10, 3rd and goal from the 10. This is your best possible shot. Same thing though, right? If it's man, the ball's going up to the X, plays over, throw a fade. If it's zone, then you're working +1, goal line or backline dig. So pretty common play. What, 10 or so reps of it? Like pretty good amount of reps. And the ball kind of sprayed pretty evenly, right? You had 3 route, 3 times go here, and 4 times go here, and twice it went here, and then 2 sacks. Oh, sorry, the ball went here once. So 3, 4, yeah. Like good distribution. The ball never went to number 1, which is too hard to get in there. But I do like this version. I think this version is better with him running the, kind of sloppy post, wherever route you want, backline dig. I think that's better than him running the bait, which is like the initial teaching. All right, then you get to the mesh worlds, which you've seen these. I just want to go over these real quick. Mesh rail, right? You've seen this a million times. This is a very common high red zone play form. Different formations, different everything, but ends up going rail to the near mesh. I think they've run it like 10 times. I think the near mesh has gotten it almost every time, like 8 of the 10 times. Like the ball's gone to the rail twice, but really it's a mass clear out for the mesh coming back underneath it. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because of base down play. But I do want to show some of the other variations that happen. They've run this twice. They scored against Jacksonville last year on this play, I want to say, or a common version of it. So same thing. These guys are just running like smash with the mesh coming to it, right? So I really like this one because now it's a straight progression with the mesh coming, the near mesh, as we say, coming to it as a third look. So you kind of got zone and man answers. You're 1 to 2 to 3. Now this is passed off really well and covered well, but I do like the thought here. They drop it off. Everybody covers it well, but the thought is good. There's different variations of mesh where they're trying to take advantage of whatever looks, and the mesh being like the check down essentially. Common one in the NFL, Green Bay's got some great clips of this. They'll put Devontae back here. LSU with Jamar Chase would do this quite a bit. Minnesota will do this. And it's mesh. Everybody's all the same. So you're in the mesh. You're under your OTB. You have a corner route and a shoe route. So kind of like we just showed, but this is the trips version. This one's more successful. You see, let's see if you can see it. It's usually broken with a quick huddle. Yep. Now you just shoot to corner, just like we just drew to the near mesh. So this is really nice. So the shoot wins, plays over to the shoot. That was covered. Go corner, the corner's covered. And what do you have finally? You have the mesh coming to it. So this is a good zone and man play. That's why you can break the huddle and snap it fast because you should have answers. And there's no thinking for the quarterback. There's no like split field thought. It's pure progression. Like I said, Green Bay's got lots of cuts of this. They'll run it on like 3rd and 3 from the midfield, all that kind of stuff. Like it's a good short yardage play and it's a good red zone goal line play. common one from like the Sarkeesian family. I'm not seeing a ton from these guys, but I did want to show it. Same thought process. These guys are on the mesh. He's on the OTB. Now instead of a corner, and shoot, you just now have post rail. So you're changing what these two guys are doing here. But these three are all still the mesh OTB concept. So mesh, OTB. But quarterback wise, you're post to rail to the near mesh. I always really like this stuff because like you have good advantage concepts to take. Like you can take the post if it's open, you can take the rail. But if not, if they do flood it and cover that well, you should, if the mesh is executed well, have this as your third look to scan back down into. So just a couple of mesh variations there that kind of show up. Now I'm gonna end on the base pass. I'll cover all these in a lot more detail. But I did want to show you like what base passes keep showing up down here. Like I said, you're attacking seams, you're attacking corners. Okay, so just real quick, talking about like what is this system passing wise that's not like base pass wise. It's a lot of split field stuff. Right. So you have a 2-man side here, you have a 3-man side here, including the running back. Okay, and that could be trips. It could be just a twins with a running back, whatever, right? But you have a 2-man side and you have a 3-man side. And inside of that, you have what is a first look side, typically, and you have a scan into side. So I think what's different about this is like the Shanahan offense in general is that it's not a lot of split field stuff. It's not like one high work this side, two high work this side. It's like you're always progressing 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or 1, 2, 3, because like you're not going to get to a fourth in the NFL very often. So you have a first look side and you have a scan into side, which like takes longer to develop and that kind of thing. So here, our first look is what we call crush, which is like invert smash, and then dodge, which we discussed earlier, is your scan to side. So your dig, your snag, your check release swing. So this being your 2-man side, being your first look side, and they could flip it, right? Your 3-man side could be your first with a scan as your 2-man side. They flip and flop, but I think you have to understand like these are mostly like split field. You're calling it that way. You're calling it a 3-man side and a 2-man side concept, and the quarterback then just puts it together in his head. So I say all that to say like this is crush, which we'll go over all this stuff in more detail later. Crush, and then dodger. So check release swing. So this is your first look slide. You're going corner to flat to dig to snag, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is usually like all in one piece. You can kind of see it all. It's all lined up for you. I'll go into more detail, like when is Dodger, what coverages is it good against, that kind of stuff. What is this good and bad against? But just to give you like an overview of how they build the game, is generally split field, first look side, second look side. So this is this type of concept, right? The smashes, the crushes, this stuff shows up more and more down here because you want to attack the corners because you just run out of space to go vertically anywhere else. So same play, like I'm sorry, it's a similar play, but now you're just kind of flipping these two. So he's running your corner, Ricky, he's making your return, and then your dodger still down here. So dig, snag, flat. So same thing, right? I'm going 1 to 2, the dig's getting jacked up, 3 to snag 4. But I'm putting those pieces in the same, like I'm doing the same thing over and over. This being a really good play for Higby. Like I said, right, we just changed the 2-man tag, but ends up being split field. I have a 3-man side and a 2-man side. I have a first look side and a scan side. Now they have probably 20 scan concepts to like 3-man scans, and they have 10 first look 2-man sides, right? So you start combining that stuff based off the week, and that's where it gets kind of fun and multiple. Same thing. right? We got crush again up top, right? Inverted smash. Then we just have a drive concept down here. That is now my 3-man scan. 2-man first look, 3-man scan. Straight progression to 1 to 2 to 3, and then he'll clear out with the 4 coming behind it. Now they're not as successful as you'd want it to be down here, but they have called a couple times. I think it's a relatively easy pickup. Man, it's not good. Obviously, like one rat stuff, it's brutal. Kind of want it as a zone play. One more look at that. At a nub, same play though. Shoot to corner. I think he does a really good job actually playing both. Right, that's why like high lows down here are brutal. You only have 10 yards to high low. Like I think you need 20 yards to high low people. 10 yards, this guy can now play both pretty easily and come down and tackle that thing for a 2-yard gain. That's why like I don't love the smash stuff as you get closer and closer. Here's where we'll see a little bit, right? You get the banjo on these two. You don't want to run the angle right back and score a touchdown. That's how they're gonna play it down there. Put 2 on, right? Anytime they're put 2 to a side type thing. Another one, good in thought, has not been successful over the years. LSU used to run it with Brady. Same idea. This is your first look side, right? You're on the curl from compressed, which look like a corner curl. Just a curl in general is we 12 to 14, top of the numbers. You compress down here is +1. Top of the numbers, good spot there. And then you have just a different drive concept, him running that through route, which we'll discuss another time. Good route for him, and him running the shallow. But it's 1 to 2. And then I've seen them try to target that, but usually it's 3 here. But you see like just how much pure progression this stuff typically is on base passes. I think it's kind of like a misconception that's like really difficult. That's why like Brock Purdy can come in and start pretty easily. I think that's why the Shanahan quarterbacks always can come in pretty easily and play, just because it is so 1, 2, 3, 4. Like there's not a ton of thought in the passing game. Good stuff. This is a great one down here. Let's see him pull it out. Okay, so same application. So we're gonna stop it. I got a 3-man side. I have a 2-man side. Here they're running what I call chair. Okay, so they run a shitload of choice routes, obviously, as does everybody in the league. But they have like different ones. Okay, so this is chair, which is a choice and a return. And because it's a return, you have to break in. So the choice has to come in, and you're running like you're selling the fighter it out 4 steps, and then you're running the return route. So choice, return is chair, and snack is a snag with the corner. That's now your second look side. So sell choice, he has to come back underneath, and then you have the return coming back underneath it. And this is a clear out, this is a clear out, and the snag is sitting right there. So like chair comes out in the red zone. It's awesome. Choice, yes, plays over. If not, he'd go return route, throw it, that's covered. Then he'd work with the snag who's jerking back in. They've had a lot of success with this one being chair the last couple of years. Another look, same thing, different formation. But remember, it's still the same thing. We have 3 to a side, we have 2 to a side. Now these 2 are running chair. Obviously, you want to split field zone, it's premier. So like if I'm coming up, I have like 3 thoughts. If it's man, I have attackers, the beaters. If it's closed zone, I'm attacking seams. If it's open zone, split zone, then I'm going with all these underneath option type stuff. So this is awesome, right? Chair, choice, sell choice, but you have to run the slant version, and return, and they have the same snag up top. So now you're just in-outing that guy. If he squeezes really hard, then you share the return right behind him. This one's awesome. This is like knowing who you are. Same thing, running snag down here. Now we're running like chair special, chair pump, whatever you want to call it. He's selling chair. He's running the choice. He's running the return. Get take a step and then whip back out. So this is like you set this up, set this up, set this up, and then bring this bad boy out when you have Cooper Kupp to win one-on-one. So it looks like chair, right? They've run this multiple times down here. He takes a step on the return and then whips back out and he's wide open. Just some common plays, like stuff they do, right? Running snag again, very common play for him is a second look. Snag is never a first look side. It's always a second look side. And then what I call in globe, which is a glance and then a bait. I think they call it a pivot route. You're 5 yards top of the numbers in the NFL. And if you're matched, you generally whip back out. But what I'm getting one high stuff with the seam open. Let's attack the seam. Plays over. So rip the seam. If not, they're running snag. Once again, these are all just base passes that show up on base downs, but they work down here as well. So talking to the trips here, we got stoner, which is a very, very common scan tag, right? This is stick nod. What's different for these guys on stick nod is it's always a scan concept. So they're always coming back into it. It's never like the priority of the play. It's always the second look side. So you get that same return out we talked about. You have a stick nod, and you have a twins first look side or two-man first look side. So here they're running that same globe, just he's running the wheel off of it. So you're 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Like this is a very common three-man scan side to them, and they'll change up. They'll go choice, they'll go globe, they'll go all sorts of man beaters here, but because they feel really confident about this concept being a good 3-4 side for him, and he's not in it at all. So like stoner being stick nod for me, that is purely the second look side of things. Like that is not the priority. The ball very rarely goes there in the cutups. It's purely a scan two side. The ball really hardly ever goes here. If the ball does come back to this side, it's usually back here for like a 5-yard gain. Same thing here. Now we have a different choice concept, right? You're going choke, which is a choice. He's got to run it in, just like he's on chair. He's got to run the slant. But instead of the return route, he's running a curl. So choice and curl is choke for me. The same thing. You're 1 to 2, and this probably is out of the picture. And back here is 3. Once again, it's like, can I push this guy enough to go one-on-one and then win choice back underneath? Which is highlighting stoner as always the second look side, the scan back into side, whatever you want to call it. Now I'll end on this one. So this being like one of the more common plays that they have, period, is stoner with the choice from Kupp or whoever number 2 is, could be from the backfield, whatever it is. Extremely common base down play. Like they'll probably run it 30 snaps in the year, which is a lot in the NFL. But it's really easy for the quarterback. He's just choice route 1. That's really bad stick nod, but that's 2, with the return route being 3. He wins on the out, plays easy. Plays not like I don't like this play against like 3-match, 1 high stuff. Because he should be right outside. You'll be able to vice that, and then this is kind of covered up pretty well as well. Like I said, I'll go into all this detail, like what coverages this concept is good on, when is it bad, when is chug, what choices go, good, bad. Like I have all those numbers and charts and all the game planning stuff. I just want to send like an overview of kind of what they're doing, kind of break it down a little bit. But very common football play. They'll run it all situations, all down distances, all yardages. One of the more common plays they have, especially with number 10 out there. Yep, that's the last one.